We are hanging out with the fantastic Mei of Brimstone and Roses. Mei, how are you?
Hey, I'm great. How about you?
I am good. I'm excited that you're joining us. Today, you're actually going to be creating your exclusive cell phone wallpaper that we're giving out in the Toon Ladies newsletter in just a couple of weeks. And I'm so excited to see what
Mei
you're going
of Brimstone
to
and Roses. Mei, how are you?
Hey, well, we are gonna have some.
I am good. I'm excited that you're joining us. Today, you're actually going to be creating your exclusive cell phone wallpaper that we're giving out in the Toon Ladies newsletter in just a couple of weeks.
YouTube if you have
Mei
it
of Brimstone and Roses. Mei, how are you?
Hey, well, we are gonna.
Okay, we got it.
Okay,
Sorry,
you got it. Okay, great.
That was. We're having all of the technology issues today. So sorry, our friends. We're excited to be here with you guys. We've got a lot of fun things happening. We are going to pull that screen back up in just a minute. Mei, before we jump into your drawing, tell us a little bit about your story.
Yeah, so Brimstone and Roses is about Bee, who ends up summoning a demon to sort of cause, it's to fix a short-term problem that ends up wrecking the long-term. And so it just leads to a comedy of errors that just snowball into a worse and worse situation.
And you just came back with your new season, right?
It's not really a new season. It's still the first season. I just took a mid-season break. But yes, we're off hiatus now, which is great.
So much fun. And if you are joining us live, we would love to hear from all of you. Go ahead and jump into our comments into the chat box and let us know what questions you have for Mei when it comes to creating art. We are going to be drawing live on screen today, and we are going to be answering all of your questions. And we're really excited to jump in and have this conversation. So we are just pulling up our screen, which is taking just a moment to load. But we do want to shout out to Holly, thanks for joining us. Sarah and Janelle, thank you for joining us. Lime, thank you for being here. We're really excited that all of you are here with us today. I'm not sure why this is not loving us all of a sudden. We're going to try to do this one more time.
Oh, is it not broadcasting properly?
Not.
Is it? Oh, I see what you mean.
I got it. We got it. Okay, guys, I'm going to arrange this on our screen because we have the weird sound in sound thing happening, but we're very excited that all of you are here, and we are going to go ahead and get that arranged. Let's take a closer look at what we're working with today.
This sort of bizarre angle. I am currently using my phone camera, so you know how it is.
Okay, guys, we are back in business.
Oh, I can't hear you if you're speaking. I think you might have.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? All right. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Oh, beautiful. We lost our visual, which I'm going to work on now.
We're trying. It's okay. This is a learning experience.
It's a Tuesday, friends. Unfortunately, with all of the quarantine lockdown, everybody is on the internet. And because they are on the internet, all of YouTube is super wonky. But we are excited that you are here. Mei, tell us what equipment you're working with today as I pull it back up.
Yeah, so I use Clip Studio Paint to draw primarily. Usually I'm actually on my iPad unless I'm doing rendering, just because of work. It's easier for me because I don't have to sit at my desk for 8 hours. But whenever I am working, at my desk, I have a Huon Canvas 20, which you can see, and I just use that. That's pretty much it. I'm a little too tired to deal with anything too fancy, so I just use default brushes and whatnot.
That's awesome. All right, guys, we are going to dive into this. Today, we are creating an exclusive wallpaper for the Toon Ladies newsletter. If you want to get access to this, you can actually sign up over at newsletter.toonladies.com. This is going out in just a few weeks as a special bonus swag gift to you. All right, let's dive in. We're all good, and you're working on it. So tell me what you're doing right now.
Yeah, so right now I'm just laying down a base thumbnail. I originally was going to do Animal Crossing, but like a sort of Animal Crossing AU, but I realized that I didn't think I'd be able to come up with an interesting composition. So the other night, I actually asked a bunch of followers and whatnot on Discord, some other places, what they would like to see. And one of the, really interesting suggestions that I got was to do a role swap picture. So that's what I decided to go with.
Well, that's exciting. I really like that. Guys, that was a good choice. Way to go with that one. We are getting all sorts of fun questions. So Lime would like to know, how do you come up with your backgrounds and your environments for your comic?
Oh gosh. So I actually visited St. Louis very briefly this past summer. And so I took a few pictures of that, and I kind of used that a little bit, especially for this one long shot that I used of the entire city. But for the most part, I kind of I go on Google, I look up some cities or restaurants or whatever I'm looking for, and I kind of just roughly get a feel for that, and then I just scribble it down, and then I hope to draw, something that doesn't look too specific, so I don't, encroach on any copyright or whatever.
Always important.
And then I just kind of sometimes I'll add in something that seems cute to me, like the coffee shop, for example. That was actually in the earlier episodes too. Just thought, it'd be cute. And sometimes I get to, if I'm very lucky, I can reuse my assets that I made prior. And that's always really nice.
We've actually had the discussion on Toon Ladies before during our virtual con when we were talking all about artistic advice and the artistic process. And I feel like a lot of people intelligently are reusing some of those backgrounds and some of those things that they're using within their stories in multiple ways so they don't have to recreate the work every single time. Do you have other tips and tricks that kind of cut down on your workflow?
Just always keeping, assets that you can reuse, even if it's like faces. If you are brave enough, you can get, or if you just know how to use it and you're not lazy like me, you can actually 3D model stuff in like SketchUp and whatnot, and that helps so much. You have no idea. Especially for just not having to get caught up spending forever drawing backgrounds by hand, which is what I do. Probably that's actually something I'm going to be looking into soon so that I can just cut down on my time. But yeah, it's not the worst thing in the world, to have to reuse a face or two during like a talk sequence, just because it saves a lot of time that you can use in other places, like during more important scenes.
That makes a lot of sense. We are getting all sorts of fun questions. Lime says, thank you for answering my question. Looks like we had some audio issues. Did we? Did we have some audio issues? Can you guys hear us now? Let me know. How would you describe your art style, Becca would like to know?
I guess probably so like I take a lot of inspiration from The Legend of Korra and that kind of general art style, as well as just like other online artists who I really like the art styles of. So I guess sort of like Western anime with a bit of like cartoon-ish stuff, Maybe, I don't know. I don't really like calling my art style anime, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. Tell us what you're doing right now.
Currently just trying to get down a basic expression. It's going. I've only drawn Demon Bee once, or well, twice technically. So just like trying to get down a pose, get things to look like natural-ish, as natural as they can be whenever you've got a demon smacking into your desk. The usual kind of things.
Of course.
Yeah.
All right, friends, we are checking on your questions. Do you have any tips when it comes to coloring digitally? Scylla would like to know.
It really genuinely depends on what you're going for. For Brimstone and Roses, I use cell shading because it's fast and it looks good, which is really what you're looking for. Especially if you do comics, you want to make sure that you are being efficient with how you work. So cell shading rather than full painting. You see a lot of artists who perhaps have more painterly styles swap to hard lines and things that are just easier to do, even though, like, you know, it's different from how they normally draw, just because, again, efficiency and not killing yourself whenever you're trying to hit deadlines.
Deadlines are really rather interesting. Do you feel like you have any tips when it comes to managing those artistic deadlines?
Don't procrastinate. Don't be like me. Don't
play Animal Crossing.
All right, thank you. Yeah. Don't play Animal Crossing. Don't, you know, there's a problem whenever you kind of like whenever you start to feel comfortable with how fast you are. That's whenever it really gets you, because then you're just like, oh, I can slack off for a little bit. It's fine. It doesn't matter. I'll be able to catch up. You know, I'm fast. And then you like really think about it, and you're just like, oh God, I shouldn't have messed around like this, because now, you know, you're 3 days behind because you thought that you'd be okay, and then it's not okay.
It always kind of sneaks up on you, right?
It really does. And you know, it'll be fine eventually. But right now, you know, sometimes it's a little suffering.
We're getting lots of fun questions, and I do want to remind all of you that Mei is going to be joining us for the Toon Ladies Podcast on Thursday. We talked all about the fake boyfriend trope, but Mei is also coming back in May, and we are going to be discussing Brimstone and Roses, and we are going to answer all of your questions about her story then. So right now, we're focusing more on the artistic side of things, but I see a couple of those sneaking through. So hit us up with your artistic questions, and then make sure you hit the subscribe and notification bell on the Toon Ladies platform, because you can actually get reminders for May's upcoming episode. In fact, we are going to be welcoming on some really cool guests in the next couple of weeks for our weekly Sunday live talk show every Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern. Next week, we are going to be hanging out with Anna and Marissa from The Shadow Prophet. The next week, we're going to be hanging out with Disney animator Philo Barnhart, who created The Little Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast, Secret of Nian, Rescuers Down Under, Black Cauldron. He was working with Star Trek. He was in Mary Poppins. The following week, we're going to be hanging out with Miranda Munt of Muted. The following week, we're going to be hanging out with Mei again. And then after that, we've got some really cool things planned with Jenna A. of Enjoy the Show. We've got on the Fabulous Marshmallow of Defects, and I have a top secret tip about someone coming on in the following weeks. I can't tell you yet, but the man created a movie that defined our childhood. That's all I'm going to say.
Wow.
I know. I will tell you when we get off air, Mei. It's going to be fun.
Oh, okay. I'm very interested. You've always got a lot going on. I'm super excited.
Yeah, lots and lots of people hanging out with Toon Ladies. So we would love for all of you to hang out with us too. Hit that subscribe and notification bell so that you don't miss any of our videos or our special celebrity guests. Katie P is in the comments, and she would like to know, what type of tablet do you use?
Yeah, so right now I'm using a Huon Canvas 20. It's one of the big screen ones, you know. And this was like a recent purchase right after I graduated from college, and I was just like, okay, I need to up all my gear. This is not what this chair should look like, I'm realizing. Oops. Anyway. Sorry, I was just like, oh, right. He is supposed to be in the proper time period. My bad. But yeah, no. So that's what I use, and then I just, as I mentioned prior, I just use, you know, Clip Studio Paint's generic brushes because I am lazy and don't feel like messing around with fancy brushes.
Always fun. I know some people really like creating their own brushes, and some people really just like using the ones that come standard, and it's kind of one or the other, not so much a mix of them. Do you feel like that's true?
Oh yeah, without a doubt. I mean, most people I know, like, I do actually have custom brushes, I just don't use them very much. Unless I'm doing like some really big painting illustrations, and then it's just like, okay, well now I have to go all out because this has to look really cool. But whenever I'm more lax, like right now, and I'm just like kind of going for my general look and feel for Brimstone, then obviously, you know, I'm going to just work with what I'm very comfortable with and what people would recognize for the series.
That makes sense. Mary Jane's in the comments saying generic brushes. Yep, same.
Yeah, you know, gotta just do what works. It's significantly, you know, not worth the headache whenever you're just trying to meet your deadlines.
I understand that. I definitely understand that.
That is good enough for this sketch.
Nice. Let me make this full screen real quick so everybody can see what we are looking at. So tell us what you ended up drawing for this.
Sorry?
Tell us what you ended up drawing for this. What are we looking at?
So yeah, this is just a role swap idea, I guess. I've actually drawn Demon Bee before. There's a lot of speculation about Demon Bee. So this is pretty much just, I guess, the initial summoning, although it's a lot less refined than Bee's actual Bee's summoning in the actual comic was. So yeah, this is more just like a very messy, quick summoning. I don't think Lazarus would survive if their roles were swapped.
I feel like that would be interesting to play out, though. Guys, if you've got opinions on this, go ahead and let us know in the comments or in the chat box. We would love to hear from you on how you feel about this role swap. We do have more questions coming in. Willy Wonka, love the name, says, for beginning artists, which program would you actually recommend? She has listed Paint Tools Eye or Clip Studio Paint.
So I'm very biased. I would honestly say Clip Studio, because what Clip Studio is, I've used Clip Studio Paint, Paint Tools Eye, GIMP, Photoshop, and Fire Alpaca a little bit, just a tiny bit. Clip Studio Paint is a one-time purchase, and it's pretty much a mixture of Photoshop and Paint Tools Eye. It's actually got line stabilization, which is really nice because Photoshop doesn't have that. It's also a program that's industry standard for comics. It's got a lot of nice functions. It's got perspective rulers. I sound like I'm shilling for I definitely sound like I'm sponsored. I'm not. It's just a really good program, So that's the main thing. Is also just again, it's very cheap for a professional program. I think it's like $50 when it's not on sale, but it goes on sale a lot, and it's like $25 then. So I definitely would recommend picking up Clip Studio Paint if you haven't already, because
I'm gonna jump in here because every webtoon author that I have talked to on the show so far has said Clip Studio has been what they are working with. That is what they recommend, and I didn't know it was so cheap. That is an amazing price, not on sale. So invest if you are a creator. I'm gonna throw my hat in the ring and back that one because wow.
Yeah, it's a really good program, and I'm even if and it's also just very friendly to new artists, new digital artists. It's not as confusing as Photoshop. It's in the same vein of UI as a Clip Studio.
Nice. I myself am a Photoshop girl, but that's because I come from a photography background. So when I jumped into this conversation and everybody started recommending this, I thought I would probably stick with Photoshop because that's what I know, but I keep hearing such good things. I'm going to have to investigate, despite the fact that I am not an artist.
Well, it also kind of depends on what you want to do with digital. A lot of us use Clip Studio Paint because it's, again, it's specifically for making comics. I guess I could show right now, but there's a panel button, and whenever you create it, it makes a panel, as you can see on my screen. Cool. And it creates a separate folder that's already masked off, and then you can just do a long strip of these, and it's great.
Wow.
So, yeah, that's why we use it. It's just a lot easier. It also has speech bubble functions, and so you don't have to make those by hand, which can be a pain, super time consuming.
Okay, wow. So I'm going to need to reach out to them about doing some fun things with Toon Ladies because I feel like we can get some fun sponsorship affiliate things going on here. So guys, stay tuned. I might have something up my sleeve for you because apparently we need to definitely check out this program. That is amazing. CJ Crazy says, do you have any tips on shading your drawings? Does someone else shade them for you?
No, I have flat colorists who lay down my base colors for me. By this point, whenever I first started, I didn't. I kind of did everything myself, which was absolutely torture. Oh my gosh. But no, I guess you'll see once I get to the coloring portion of this. I'm trying to go quickly, but I keep getting distracted by talking, so I apologize. But yeah, no. Normally all I do is I just do one multiply layer and one soft light layer. and then maybe throw on like one more multiply layer just to do like a fast like shading pass to get a sort of local color going. And then again, this is for Brimstone and Roses specifically because I have to work quickly. So normally it's just like 2 layers clipped onto flats, and then that's it. And then it usually looks fine, so I can just keep moving. But like for more special episodes, such as the mid-season finale, I did a few lighting tricks with like overlays and whatnot, but that's kind of like optional, to be honest. I don't know.
Interesting. Mary Jane does want to know, did you go to school for art? And if you did you like it?
Yeah, so I went to SCAD. I was picked up by Webtoon in my final quarter of being at SCAD. I actually worked on my, pre-release, like for my senior project, which is really nice. Really loved my professor. I'm actually going to be doing a little thing with him, I think soon for one of his senior project classes. But still scheduling that, so that's fun. But yeah, I have a degree in sequential art, which is essentially just comics, and I minored in storyboarding. And I really like storyboarding. I'm hoping to get some new storyboards out before the end of this year. That is my goal anyway. We'll see.
So for people who don't necessarily know all of these art terms, what is storyboarding?
So storyboarding is primarily used in storyboarding is for animation. It's essentially doing like the very rough, basic, movements and whatnot for an animation, whether it be TV shows, movies, and it's not even necessarily like animated movies or whatever. Anything that uses special effects uses storyboards, and obviously like music videos, that kind of stuff.
Fantastic. We are getting a lot of love for Clip Studio in the comments. Wow, everyone is jumping on this train and they are loving on it. Also, you have a fellow SCAD student hanging out. So hey guys.
Awesome. I glanced at the comments and I saw one of my old SCAD friends, Izzy, is there. Not sure if that's her, but if it is, that is
exciting. We love it when friends come and hang out. And guys, if you've got questions, we would love to get those answered for you. Fandom Queen says, how long does it take you to sketch your one of your scenes inside of your comics? So how long does that usually take you?
Oh gosh, it generally depends. It also depends on how distracted I decide to be that day. Not even joking. It's unfortunate. Focus is a huge problem for me. But usually it only takes like from 5 to 15 minutes, depending on complexity, just because my sketches are really messy and very loose. Just because I know what I want to do in my head, so why do
That makes a lot of sense. Interesting. It sounds like we have a little bit of audio issues. Interesting. I am not hearing an echo, Mary Jane. It is a little on the tinny side for me, but we're just gonna keep going. We are just gonna keep going and see what happens. If you're having fun, friends, we want to make sure you are bringing your friends to the party. Hit that share button right now and let them know that we are hanging out and having all of the fun today. We're getting multiple reports of double May. We're getting 2 of your audios, May. Not sure why, but I'm going to see what I can do about that as we continue to talk. Oh, now I'm getting feedback. Fun times. We're just going to keep going, friends. We are going to keep going. But if you are having fun, we would love for you to bring your friends and let them know we're live and hanging out. If you've got questions, now is a great time to drop those down below because we would love to get those answered for you. We're having an actual discussion on the echo in the comments. Yeah, please figure that out for us. We do hear echoes. All right.
Yeah, I can go and get my headphones so that there's no echo if you'd like. Because I think what it's doing is that it's picking up my audio.
Probably.
Like from what I hear.
Oh, Jenna says it's all good for her. You can grab them if you want. That's totally fine. We'll see what happens. See if we can make that a little bit better.
I'll be right back.
All right. So while she's grabbing those, let me go ahead and tell you guys what we do have coming up, because we are not done with all the drawing fun. And in our next episode, fingers crossed, we will not have all the same audio issues. We are going to be joined by Mushmellow of Defects on Friday. She's joining us at 11 a.m. right here on the YouTube channel. And we are going to be drawing from her. She's going to be creating some really beautiful art from Defects for us for our next episode on Friday. So make sure you hit that subscribe and notification bell, because you do not want to miss out on all of the fun asking her questions. She is known for her glowy artwork, and we would love to get your questions about that and answered.
Let me know if this is better. Hopefully it is. I am so sorry. I have to readjust my camera phone. One day I will get a webcam. You guys will all see and understand.
Oh, goodness. Guys,
Yeah.
how the audio's going.
Yeah, so sorry about this. I am not the most, experienced with streaming.
Technology just doesn't love us today, and it's because everyone is in quarantine right now. Everyone is actually live streaming, and everyone is actually watching those live streams, which means Facebook, YouTube, even Instagram is kind of a little bit messed up when it comes to these live streams, and we've all been having tech problems. I am a social media strategist. I do this for a living. I work with all these amazing social media platforms, and this is just an ongoing problem. So we're so grateful that you're all here with us and bearing with us through some of these tech issues today. It is just a learning experience, and we're glad that you're all here. We are getting love for the audio. Yes, I'm so excited that the audio is working again.
Okay, yeah, so sorry about that. I'm glad it's cleared up.
It just happens. It happens. And you know what? That's not even the worst thing that's happened on one of my shows, so it's all good.
Oh, do tell.
I run multiple talk shows. So I have the Toon Ladies talk show. I've got an author talk show. If you guys are fans of young adult books like Hunger Games and Divergent, I have a social media strategy talk show. And between all of these things, I've had some interesting things happen with my guests. And I've definitely had my co-hosts have their cats attack their backgrounds while we're on air. They jump up, grab onto the background, and fall down on camera.
That sounds about right.
Right? I once upon a time, I had a guest come on my show. She had a number of children, and her children decided to beat down the door behind her. And she had to lock herself in a room, and they just pounded away through the entire thing. So I've had some interesting things happen on these talk shows. This is not even top 20.
Speaking of, my neighbor is banging on her wall, so that's great.
That's so fun. Actually, I think I hear that.
I know.
Listen, I'm going to be real honest. This morning, we had construction start on the road. They decided to show up. I don't know why they did, but the state showed up in big, massive trucks. They started chopping down trees. They were doing all sorts of things. They went away. They came back, and they left right before you and I met for mic check. So I just barely missed it. Yes, it's been a day. I think it's just one of those crazy Tuesdays, and we want to know from you guys, are you having an insane Tuesday too? Let us know what's happening down below as Mei continues to draw her wallpaper, which you will be able to exclusively find inside of the Toon Ladies newsletter. To get your copy of this, you got to go down to newsletter.toonladies.com and get signed up. Last Saturday, we sent out Breaking Toon World News. We did an interview with Jenna A. of Enjoy the Show. Jenna provided the most swoony, glorious, amazing wallpaper that made me swallow my tongue because I was not expecting that level of swooniness. And we gave that out on Saturday. This coming Saturday, we are getting an exclusive wallpaper, which we just announced. We did an unboxing for yesterday to show you what that's going to look like. Mushmellow is going to be providing the one for this coming Saturday. And then the following week, we will be showing off May's amazing wallpaper and interview as well, because it is the month of May here at Toon Ladies.
Yeah, I'm currently looking at this and I'm just having a moment. Unfortunately, oftentimes whenever I do weirder poses that aren't just a nice, simple, 3/4 left portrait, easy. I get into these problems where I just sit there for hours and I'm like, wow, this pose doesn't look right. But again, sometimes you just gotta be it's fine. I have 40 other panels to do.
That's true. That's true. When you got a lot of work to do, sometimes having something to put out there is better than having nothing, even if it's not perfect, and that is totally okay.
Exactly.
Jenna A says, love the neighbors. Yeah. Oh, and Rosie says their audio was not that bad, so we're actually okay. Fantastic.
Okay, good.
Glad to hear that. Chemical Pie S says, do you have any shortcuts for complex backgrounds? We talked a little bit about that, but kind of give us a shout out. What do you do when you have overly complex backgrounds to make it a little bit easier for yourself?
Obviously references, without a doubt. Just pulling up references. Usually what I do if I have like a really difficult one, especially like cityscapes, is that I'll pull up an image on Google, or like I'll go on Google Maps and I'll zoom in. I'll look at the thing. I will usually, to be honest, just take a screenshot, toss it in, and then do the basic shapes, and then I'll delete the photo, and then I'll just lay down some super simple things. Drawing in lighting effects, very easy way to like kind of, I don't want to say trick, but like make people think that there's more going on than there actually is.
Always a good thing. We kind of like those little fake outs, especially because it's not necessarily the most important part of the image, and we keep the focus on those characters, on the things that are the important focus, by kind of taking a step back from the overly complex backgrounds. So
yeah, and I mean, unfortunately, one of the main things you have to remember, just like drawing comics, is just like, I'm going to end up spending like 3 hours on this panel, but people are going to look at it for 15 seconds. And that is heartbreaking, but also it helps a lot because it keeps you from getting too like focused on these things,
I think that's one of those really important things, because as readers, we don't necessarily think about how much work goes into each and every panel. And we definitely just keep on scrolling all the way through those. And that was a lot of work that we just kind of flipped on by. So guys, if you're reading, take time to appreciate the details. That's all I'm saying.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. My phone is dying. Well, not dying, but like it just fell over. And I was like, okay, cool.
We're just embracing the toughness today. It's all good. All good.
It's okay. These tech troubles is just, it's a summary of my life in general.
I feel like it's been my last, not quite 48 hours. Just like if it could go wrong, it has gone wrong. So here we are. We're just bootstrapping it. We're continuing on. If you guys have questions, we would love to get them answered. Go ahead and drop them in the chat box right now. We'll pull them up. And Fandom Queen has a great question, which you're going to answer first, and then I'm going to pop in with a fun little bonus tip. So she would like to know, how do you draw hands?
You don't. No, I'm kidding. Oh my God. I've been drawing for forever. I'm still not great at drawing hands. I'm gonna have to resize Bee's because, again, she has like claw hands. And usually whenever I draw like claw hands, they end up getting a little bit too big because there's just a lot going on, And so oftentimes I have to resize them. Sometimes they're way too big. A lot of the times they're way too big, or they're way too small, and it's a pain. Usually though, this is obviously, again, I'm not great at drawing hands myself. They are something I need to study. But whenever people tend to sketch hands, I always suggest you do the palm first, and then I'll just show. So like you do the palm, then you group together these 3 fingers, then you have the pointer finger separate, and then you do the thumb. Like, and then that's usually how you can like group them very quickly and easily to do like fingers and whatnot. It's not the like most complex thing to do, but it helps, it's fast for just like getting down what you want to do.
It makes a lot of sense, and I feel like I've seen that from a lot of artists as well. And I said I had a little bit of a bonus tip for you. So if you are looking for a little bit of guidance on drawing hands and maybe feet, I have something coming up for you. I mentioned we've got some really cool people coming up on the Toon Ladies talk show over the next couple of weeks, one of which is Disney animator Philo Barnhart. And the last time I hung out with Philo was actually when we were both speaking at Mermagicon in February. It's a big professional mermaid convention in Washington, D.C. with hundreds and hundreds of mermaids. It's amazing. We both happened to be speaking on the same panel and doing all the fun things. And Philo was on one of my live streams and actually drew a picture of Lumiere for my fans in real time and showed it to them and explained how he drew things. And he then decided he was going to teach me how to draw hands and feet the next time we hung out. So he is coming on the show. in just a couple of weeks. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we're going to try to convince him to teach us how to draw hands live on air. So if you would like to have a Disney animator who created The Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Secret of NIMH, The Black Cauldron, a whole bunch of movies that we all grew up with, we're going to do our best to get him to draw that for us while we are live on air and teach you how to draw hands and possibly feet. If you're loving on it, go ahead and let me know in the comments that you are really excited about that one. Rosie's in the comments and she says, I'm not going to lie, I stare at panels for a long while to admire, but she doesn't look for issues, so don't worry about that.
I appreciate it.
MEMG is also echoing those thoughts. She is loving on admiring panels, especially the ones from your story.
Oh my God, Emmy is so sweet. I cry every time. Yeah, she's a great creator too. She works on Axed.
Oh, well, hello, Emmy. We should be friends and hang out. All I'm saying. Hit me up later. All right. Rosie says they're always so colorful and pretty. I love admiring the work. I know how long it takes.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot, but you know, it is worth it because I'm gaining experience, and it's really nice whenever people are like, hey, this was a really great update, thanks so much. And I'm just like, yes, I'm so glad people enjoyed it.
I always try when I'm reading things, if I see something that especially stands out, I will message the person and be like, hey, listen, I always love your artwork, but this episode was particularly nice. So I'm just letting you know I really enjoyed your coloring or your lighting or your glowiness or like whatever. So if you are someone who likes to support these authors, artists, DM them, reach out to them, tell them, and not just in the comments of their webtoon because they don't always read those. So reach out to them and tell them when you especially love something that they've created because it makes them feel really good and allows them to continue to create for you. So Mei, tell me what you're working on right now. What part of the process are we in?
We're currently in line phase, which is the worst phase in my humble opinion, but because it's just like, I see, maybe being so loose with my sketch was a bad idea. Because now I'm just like, it's not a problem right now because I'm doing this very in the minute, obviously, perhaps. But like sometimes if I am, especially whenever I'm working on Brimstone itself, let me tell you, I don't know what the heck I'm talking about half the time with some of these sketches. I will just scribble something and I'll be like, I'll get that later. Like, yeah, I'll definitely understand what that means in a couple of days. I don't. I have no idea what I was talking about. So then I have to go and like consult my script and it's a whole mess.
Sounds like a process and a half.
It is. And then of course things always change. Like sometimes I look at stuff and I'm just like, you know, oh, this looks really bad. Or I'm just like, oh, this is going to take way too long and I have not been, you know, I don't have the time to work on this panel. So I have to simplify it. Or I'm just like, this doesn't look great. And this is a very important like beat in the story, so I should probably like force this better.
Yeah, I think creatively sometimes we kind of try things and it doesn't work, and then we have to go back and redo all of the work. So if you are an artist, if you are an author, if you are any type of creative, just be prepared because that does come up occasionally. We do have a question. Is it easier to draw art with your art program or do you prefer drawing with your hands? I think we're going to clarify this a little bit. Do you prefer drawing digitally or do you prefer drawing like with pencil and paper?
Oh, easily digitally. Wow, my camera fell again. Okay, easily digitally. I mean, it's way cleaner. I can do it whatever I want, which is a lot easier than having to like chug around a bunch of art supplies. Again, I've done both. You know, digital is just, it's faster. It's cleaner. To be honest, you can do a lot more in a lot less time than with traditional. While there's a lot of like really nice textures and mark making you can do with traditional, it's like, I don't know. In terms of comics, it'd be nice, but I don't have the luxury of having the time to do that. Also, if I could not undo stuff, I would be screwed. I'm just saying. This would not be great.
That's my favorite thing about digital everything. It's so easy to fix things. If there's an issue, you can delete things, you can change things, you can manipulate things. We watched you earlier as you were resizing hands. And if you had done that outside of the digital world, you would have had to start all over on that particular part. You would have had to erase it and redraw it. With this, you can just manipulate it digitally and it saves you so much time and effort. So for someone who is a digital-based person, I love digital, but guys, let us know. If you prefer pencil and paper, get down in my comments and just give us a shout out. Let us know.
Yeah, and oh, sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna mention, like, you know, sometimes you do just have to completely redraw things. That has happened to me multiple times, especially with Brimstone, just because it's like, you know, whenever you really want something to work and then it's not working, and so you just have to suck it up and completely start over. That happens a lot. And with digital, you don't have to do the erase of shame where you get scared you're going to rip your paper as well while you're trying to erase everything. You can just hit new canvas and it's fine.
Now, because I don't know your program, I'm actually going to ask some technical questions because I feel like this is going to be fun. And I'm a Photoshop girl, so I'm going to speak in Photoshop terms. I know when I'm working in Photoshop, everything I do, I try to do on a different layer just so that it's not connected to anything. So if I need to turn off a layer or I need to remove something or I need to change something, resize something, it's easy for me to do. Within your program, is it all on the same layer or is every stroke something new? What does that look like for you?
Oh, it works the exact same as Photoshop. You choose to make a new layer. Yep.
Perfect. Every once in a while, I forget to make my new layers and I draw something on the same layer. Have you ever done that before?
Not as often. So like you can see I'm pretty sure you can see my layer panel, but the way that I work is that I make layers and then as I continue to make them, I tend to merge them. So like usually it's just I end up merging layers that I shouldn't have merged, and then I'm just like, okay, cool, thanks, wow.
See, that's why I don't merge anything. So when I'm creating, I'm a photographer, friends, if you're just joining me for the first time, and I make like storytelling art. So I do a lot of fine art photography compositions where I'm taking bits and pieces of different photographs and blending them in to make a new image. And if I merge things, I am totally messed up. So I have hundreds and hundreds of layers of the different effects and things I'm doing within my photos, but I know a lot of artists do merge things down. So for you, Mei, when do you feel it's appropriate to merge those layers? When you're happy with them, or is there some type of barometer for I should be creating this and merging this into one layer?
To be honest, I honestly don't think that much. That's probably why I am the way I am. I don't really have a specific, time whenever I merge stuff. I just kind of do it whenever I'm just like, okay, wow, this layer panel is getting super crowded. Sorry. Wow, I just choked on my spit. Anyway, sorry. But yeah, no, I don't really have a specific time. Whenever I was kind of getting used to digital art, I never actually used to do flats. I used to just color in one part and then just do all the shading, do all the effects, merge that, and then it was done. Okay, I'm done. I don't have to touch this anymore. Which wasn't great for creating cohesive lighting effects. I had crazy light sources whenever I was still drawing, learning how to draw just in general. Not that I'm not, not learning still, but you get what I'm trying to say.
I do.
Yeah, and so it wasn't a very good process. I used to explain it to people who would ask me, and they'd just be like, why? Why do you do it like that? And I just had to be like, I don't know. I don't know why. But whenever I started working with Webtoon, obviously I had to be a bit more organized, especially whenever I started hiring my colorists. And so now I do flats, and then I usually keep all of my shadings on separate layers so that I don't have to worry about merging the wrong things, and then my colorists have a pretty clearly laid out space, to work with things, so that they don't have to message me and be like, hey, what the heck does this mean?
Always important to make sure they know what they're doing. So I have to ask, I know within Photoshop, I'm assuming it's the same with you. You've got different blend modes so that you can kind of change the coloring and the way that it's interacting with the layers above and below it. So what's your all-time favorite blend mode?
Oh, blend mode? So I'm not fully sure what you mean. I have,
So
I don't really...
soft light or hard light, linear.
Oh, okay. So you mean just... Yeah, shoot. I guess overlays. Overlays do a lot. Whenever I am coloring my normal art, not comic stuff, I use a lot of overlays. They just help make things look nice. They look neat, you know? It helps to unify your color palettes, especially whenever you're doing illustrations and you're like wrapping it up and just trying to make everything look cohesive and like it's part of the same illustration, which can be a hassle sometimes. And by sometimes, I mean a lot of the times. Especially if you're not really good with making palettes.
Now, talk to us a little bit about palettes. How does that work for you? Do you have that on screen with you so that you can always grab that color and match it? Or do you have it somewhere else? Do you just kind of do it by eye? Like, what does that look like for you?
So, Brimstone and Roses, I actually do have a palette, specific palette for it. It is pretty much done. There are characters who haven't been introduced yet who I still need to finish their palettes for. Like, I know what they look like, but I haven't quite nailed down their colors yet. And then usually, so like all my colorists now have this palette. It took me a long time to make it because I just forgot, which is the summary of my life. But yeah, so usually I just use that whenever I'm drawing like normally. I just pick colors, you know, from the thing, and then I just adjust them as I work because, you know, sometimes, unless like, you know, it's a character that I've drawn before, or like if it's fan art, which I do draw a lot of fan art, then like, you know, it's kind of just, sorry, I don't know what's going on here. I was hoping that this leg would be covered by its desk. It was not. Damn.
That's funny.
Yeah. But yeah, so, and then usually with fan art, I never go full saturation anymore. Whenever I was younger and I did a lot of fan art, I had eye-blinding color choices at times to put it as lightly as possible. But now I still try to keep vibrancy in my work, but definitely tone down to be less painful, you know?
Certain colors are just a little bit hard to look at, especially when paired with other colors that are a little bit on the bright side.
Exactly. So you just kind of have to, you know, use it in moderation. And then so like one of the problems with my current canvas actually, and it might be if y'all are like watching me draw and you kind of notice the screen glitch for a second, it's actually because my freaking canvas is not actually calibrated very well, despite how much I fiddle with it. So the color is slightly off, unfortunately. So the reason why my screen kind of gets wonky at times is actually because I'm pulling it to my primary monitor to check what it looks like. It's also because like, yeah, the screen's at a tilt. So as I'm drawing, I'm also just like, this is probably, you know, the proportions are probably going to be slightly off to me because it's at a different angle than it probably should be. But this is unfortunately the most comfortable way of coloring for me. This is an ugly chair. Oh my God. Sorry. I have to redraw this. So yeah, another part of the drawing process is just being like, wow, this looks terrible. I need to redo this.
I completely understand that. We are getting lots of comments on the layers. Some people are not merging their layers and they end up with like 30. You guys have not found me in my hundreds though.
I was gonna say that's not that bad. Whenever I did like animatics and whatnot, I actually hit the layer cap limit for Clip Studio Paint, which I didn't know existed.
I was gonna say, what is their cap for that?
I have no idea. I think it's got to be like around 1,000 because that's where I was at.
Woo!
And those were the unnamed layers.
Yeah, there's a pro tip right there, friends. I have learned this in my many years of being a photographer and a designer. If you don't label your layers, you will never find the correct one. It just won't happen. And I actually design book covers on air for my fans every single week. And while I'm talking and explaining what I'm doing, I forget to label my layers. Which makes it very, very hard when I have to go back and fix something on air in front of everyone to find the correct layer. So always, always, always label your layers or you will regret it. Yeah, people are shocked that there's a layer cap. Me too.
Yeah, it was towards the very end of working on this thing, it was getting really hard to save the file. It would take like minutes at a time. I didn't actually stream. I streamed all of this whenever I was working on the thing. But like I didn't end up streaming the last few, but like it would take like a solid like 2 minutes to save, which was terrifying.
That is a scary place to be when your file doesn't save and it just keeps going around and around. I'm always worried my program's going to crash when that happens.
Oh yeah. Okay, I think that's good enough. Hopefully her face won't be blocked by the like number. I'm hoping. We'll see. Okay, which means I can start coloring. Sweet. So I actually have B's reference pulled out, thankfully, and then I'm just gonna copy paste. So this is the initial design I did of B's demon form. Got a few people being like, you should tag this as a spoiler, and I'm just like, what? If it was a spoiler, I would have tagged it. I promise you, I wouldn't have posted it. I promise you.
That's awesome. Loving the way that this is looking. Guys, if you are loving what we're seeing so far, please let us know down in the comments. And let us know who else you would love to see on the show to draw their characters on air for you. We are hanging out with Mushmallow Defects on Friday at 11 a.m., so you do not want to miss that. Hit that subscribe and notification bell, and let us know what other artists you would love to see on air creating their characters for you to come and ask questions for. And let me know why you want to see them, because it's never enough just to tag somebody. People don't know why you're tagging them. So let me know why you want to see them, so when I reach out, I can tell them. You guys know I hang out with all sorts of fun, fabulous webtoon artists and celebrities, and it always makes their day when I bring your comments to them. And yes, I do. When you leave a lovely comment on one of the videos, I do screenshot it and I send it to them, and it makes their day. So if you want to get in front of your favorite artists and authors, hang out with me. I'll get you in front of them. Oh, fantastic. We've got people repping for your comic in the comments. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate that. And loving on your color palette as well.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, Demon Bee is a fun little thing that people ask me to do. And so I am always ecstatic whenever I get to bust out a demon design.
So tell me what you're doing with your coloring right now.
Oh, I'm currently just laying down flats. It's nothing super fancy. Just, being like, getting all this stuff. So this is normally what I pay other people to do because it's tedious and annoying and I don't like doing it. But so it's really just like, that's a horrible color. Just kind of like, dropping it down and just kind of getting down like the base look. And then I add in all the shading and the colors and, all that fun, not really actually fun stuff.
It's always nice to kind of hand off the less exciting work.
Yeah, and it's fine. It's not that it's super hard to do. It's just, again, it's like it's tedious, and then I work a lot, so it's nice to be able to like paw off my least favorite aspect and then just be able to like sit back and relax. And my colors do an amazing job all the time. I'm so grateful for them. Oh my gosh. I would be dead without them.
I'm all about outsourcing. When somebody else can do it, delegation is the best way to live your life. I'm just saying.
Exactly.
If you are joining us live and you've got questions, we would love to get those answered. Go ahead and hop into the chat right now and let us know what questions you have on Mei's art style, what she's drawing right now, her characters, all those fun artistic questions. We would love to get those answered for you. And if you're on our replay, we still want to hear from you. Get down into our comments and leave your questions, leave your comments, because Mei is coming back in just a few weeks for the Toon Ladies Talk Show. Every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern, we are going live right here on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Toon Ladies, and we are introducing you to a new webcomic author, artist, or celebrity that you cannot miss. We've got some fantastic people coming up in the next couple of weeks, and we would love for you to join us. All right, let's check back in with Mei. Mei, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. Again, sorry, this is just an unfortunately tedious, aspect. But
okay.
It usually doesn't take too long.
You're moving along really quickly.
Oh, I'm glad. Yeah, I try to work quickly, especially whenever I live stream. It's one of the main reasons why I like live streaming, because I get very, very easily distracted. So whenever I'm just like, oh God, there are people watching me. If I'm slow, they're going to get bored. And I'm just like, well, time to just speed along as soon as as fast as possible.
I feel that way when I'm designing on air for people. I mentioned I do book covers every single week for my authors, and I definitely move a lot faster for them than I do for myself, just because I'm trying to educate as I go. So I always get my book covers down into 1 hour with hundreds of layers, and it's like as fast as possible. So guys, let us know. Let us know if you are loving on this and if you want to see more of this in the future. KDP is shouting out the switched roles being such a fun concept. MEMG says, what was your favorite frame to draw?
Oh, my favorite frame to draw. Well, I'm very glad y'all asked that. So first of all, the cheesy umbrella like romance scene whenever Alex was first introduced right before the mid-season break. That was, oh my gosh, super fun. I love doing those like kind of cheesy things. But also my favorite, any of Lazarus' flashbacks, especially his flashbacks from an episode that hasn't been released yet, but will be pretty soon. That was a lot of fun. It's always nice to do slightly darker things. I love drawing Lazarus' wings anytime they come out, which is rare because he's weak. He can't really do it often, but when he does, I have a ball.
That's so funny. I feel like I personally, when I like something, I tend to work it into my work a little bit more. If I see an opening, I take it. So do you like to kind of work those things in whenever you can?
So like with Lazarus, it's tricky because he is supposed to be weak. It's actually important that he's a weaker demon for reasons. Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry that I have to keep being vague. It's unfortunately, to keep from spoiling stuff later. But yeah, it's important that he's weak. So the most powerful thing that he can do is summon his wings. So even though I do like it and I, wish I could do it maybe a little bit more, I don't, because whenever the main reason that he has wings, whenever that ends up showing up, the payoff will be great for both me as the writer and then hopefully my audience as the readers,
Yes. We're getting lots of love for the detail work that you are putting in right now. We're getting lots of love for being able to watch all of these details.
Oh, I'm glad.
Emmy's giving you all this shout out love.
Emmy is so sweet. Oh my gosh. I'm going to cry.
Emmy, I don't think I know you yet, but I really like you. We do need to hang out. This is lots of fun.
Yeah, her and Shren's comic is amazing. It's so funny. I have cried laughing at times.
Oh, fancy.
Yes,
Fancy,
Axed is
fancy.
great. Like, I know. I am so excited for season 2.
Well, Emmy, send me a DM. Let me know what your story is about, and maybe we can get you on one of these episodes as well. Willy Wonka says Laz is weak because he doesn't go to the gym.
Yeah. Yeah. That he is genuinely just a little string bean. It's very unfortunate for him.
That's so funny. Fandom Queen says, who is your favorite character to draw?
Okay, I mentioned this on the podcast, another little rehash, but one of my favorite characters to draw, he hasn't really been introduced yet. He was mentioned, but it's actually, it's Evelyn's dad, who is a gentle little, I guess, reference to Good Omens slightly in a way. But Mr. Jackson, he's a lot of fun to draw, and he's a lot of fun to write as well. He's just very over the top. But in terms of main cast, probably B. She's just, she's got a lot of great expressions. I really like drawing her hair. She's very soft. So, probably B. Lazarus can be fun. It just depends. His horns can be very irritating to deal with, even though they're very simple. Just because they kind of get in the way, to be honest, especially whenever I'm trying to make frames, because it's not a good, time to you aren't really supposed to cut off the horns on the panel. It just doesn't look right. So oftentimes they get in the way, which can be a hassle.
I feel like there's specific things on specific characters that just kind of make it a little bit harder, but it's an intricate part of them. It's very important, so you have to kind of work everything around the character.
Yeah, Lazarus horns and then bees hair parting, as funny as it sounds.
Yeah, no, I get it. Hair is a complicated thing to work with.
Yeah, I wish that I had just not given her a hairstyle that has a specific parting because, oh my gosh, it's irritating. I don't know if I like this color. I think that I might. Nope, he looks like a dork. Never mind. Okay, we're going with dark.
Katie P is in the comments and says, are the pinstripes on his pants hard to draw?
They actually aren't, not since I got my my new tablet, because let me just casually, the nice thing about having a camera is that I can just do this. So like, yeah, the nice thing about this is that since I draw directly on the screen, it's super easy to do the pinstripes because it's just like, it's super simple. But whenever I was still working with like my crappy little like Wacom tablet thing, then it was really annoying. It was irritating because the lines aren't as stable. And then especially like for a very short while, I did use Photoshop, and Photoshop does not have a stabilizer, and I am extremely shaky when I draw. So it wasn't pretty. It was a very sad line, and it would just take forever to do.
So with this stabilizer, what does that do? Does that like make a line straighter, or what? How does that work?
It kind of does what the name implies. It stabilizes your strokes, so like it just smooths them out so that I'm trying to explain it in a way that makes sense. It just smooths your lines slightly whenever you're working, so it's easier to do clean lines rather than having like very jagged ones, which is why that's like the main problem that a lot of people have with Photoshop. Photoshop doesn't have stabilizers.
Which I've noticed as someone who uses Photoshop a lot, that is one of my complaints. So interesting. And now that I know that other programs actually have something like that, now I know why my lines are not always necessarily the best strokes when I'm using a brush to create a line. Ellie is in the comments, and Ellie says, how do you do your pacing? For example, how do you know what panels need to be full body, which need to be those closely cropped in things? What does that look like for you?
So every single week I do a script according to like I've mentioned before, but my Brimstone and Roses is completely written. So I usually consult that, kind of like think about, what is something important that needs to happen in this update? What are like, what do I need to get told in this update? Then I write a script, and then I start doing my thumbnails, which I've posted a few. I have an episode that's in production right now. I don't want to show it because quite frankly, I think it might be a contract breach. But so I put down all my thumbnails, and usually my script also has like if it's a close up or if it's a full body. And then sometimes I adjust it depending on it's like, oh, I've had way too many close-ups. This looks messy. This is bad, and I don't think it looks, I need to put in some distance, or just vary up the shot a bit. This kind of also ties in with the fact that, I have a degree in comics, so I've done a lot of comics just, for classes and whatnot. So I have a slightly better eye for this stuff, and whenever it kind of looks just a little bit too much, but yeah, it's hard because sometimes, you do have to have like a bunch of like really close in shots at a time, and you're just like, this doesn't look great, but one, I don't have time, and two, they kind of need to so that you can see the expressions. Webtoon has a very unique format, and it's a really interesting format that you can do a lot of really fun things with, but sometimes it's a bit limiting because you can't do as many wide shots without having to like kind of force people to rotate their cameras. Their phones, excuse me, so that, they can match the camera of a wide shot. And yeah, it's, it kind of just depends again. My comic is very dialogue heavy. I don't have many action scenes, so that's why there's a whole bunch of like close-ups and whatnot, rather than sorry, I'm like trying to figure out what is going on with this desk.
That's okay. Talk us through it.
Yeah, my perspective is bad because I refuse to use a ruler. That's it. That's all you need to know. But yeah. Anyway, it's a lot. there's not really too much else to say. It's a lot of just like looking at like what I have laid down, being like, does this look good? It doesn't. Let me try again. It's a lot of trial and error, I guess.
That makes a lot of sense. We're getting more love for Clip Studio in the comments, and stabilizers are very helpful. Let's see what else we've got. We're getting love for some free programs in the comments as well. Friends, if you've got questions, if you've got comments, let us know in the chat box right now. We would love to get those answered. We are putting down some really great colors right now. I'm very excited about these wings and the way that they are turning out right now. And we are answering your questions as we go. So now is a great time to drop those in for us while we are live and hanging out. And like I said, we are really focused on Mei this month. It's pretty exciting because we are going to be having Mei on the podcast, which drops this Thursday. The Toon Ladies Podcast is streaming on all of the major platforms, including iTunes and Spotify. You can listen for free. Last week, we actually had on Mongi from Let's Play. She talked all about creating hobbies for her characters. And this coming Thursday, we're chatting with Mei about the fake boyfriend trope. In addition to that, Mei is going to be joining us in May as we jump in and have a conversation about Brimstone and Roses. So if you've got questions on her comic, we are going to be doing another stream all about it. It's on Sundays at 6 p.m. and we've got some really cool people coming up on the talk show. We would love for you to join us. So hit that subscribe and notification bell so that we can get you here so that you never miss one of these fun, fabulous episodes. And Rosie is giving us all the love for the podcast. Thank you, lady. Mei, I just noticed you added some really cool colors to the wings here. So tell us a little bit about what you're doing.
Yeah, so I just did a fast gradient. Super easy, just like airbrushed that on to a clipped layer. And then I just did a quick overlay to like add in some speckles, give her a little bit more, I guess, something a little bit more snazzy than Lazarus' wings. His wings are translucent. So I kind of wanted to differentiate them just a little bit. Obviously, her wings will have a little bit of transparency too, but I like the idea of her being a very like glitzy design.
I feel like that fits her very well.
Yeah, she has a lot of personality. Yeah, Bee is a lot of fun. I deeply enjoyed writing and creating her. She was originally a tiefling design. I actually mentioned this to my Discord the other day.
Ooh, fun.
Yeah, she was a D&D character of mine that I ended up turning into this character. Oftentimes, I reuse characters for projects that, pulling them from other projects to then put them into like comics and whatnot. So what happened with Brimstone and Roses, like Lazarus was just a one-off design that I did that I later took and made into an actual design.
That's awesome. I love repurposing things. It saves so much time and effort, and you kind of get to breathe new life into things that you've already created once. So if you guys are fans of repurposing, go ahead and let us know down in the comments below. I see that you are adding some background color. So tell me what we're looking at.
This is just very basic. I'm actually now about to start finally getting to shading. I haven't saved yet, so let me do that.
Wise choice.
Yeah,
I
kind of just forgot.
Yeah, when I'm doing my book covers live, I have to have my fans remind me to save it because I'm just so busy talking and getting things done that I do not save it. And should something horrible happen, that's a lot of work to go to waste.
Yeah, it's not great. I really honestly need to remember more often, but sometimes I'm just like, oh, listen, it's fine. Nothing's going to happen.
I've been doing this for literal years, live streaming my design work, and I still haven't convinced myself to remember to hit the save button. My fans literally have to remind me every single time I go live to do one of these things. So guys, just let us know in the comments every like 10 minutes or so. Just be like, save, hit the save button. We'll make sure we get
I was gonna say I'm about to shill for frickin' Clip Studio again, but there is an autosave function built into Clip Studio. It saves every 15 minutes and you can adjust this accordingly. So because I, again, forget a lot, I actually have mine set to save every 3 minutes. So it's not completely lost, but definitely something to note about Clip Studio. I think that Photoshop also has a recovery system, but I don't quite know how it works.
They do have a recovery system. It only works in certain cases in specific ways, and sometimes there's a lot of legwork to get to that point. So sometimes it will do it, and sometimes it will not. I've learned the hard way.
Oh.
Yeah. Every
That's
once in a while when I get one of those really big files, it'll crash on me, and then I have to go through the process. It's oh so fun. But if you've got Photoshop questions, I'm your girl. I can answer all the things. Rosie says, I can't wait to have this as a background. I already love it so much. Well, hey, Rosie, if you want to get your hands on a copy of this, I know Rosie's already a part of our community. But if you are new to us, we are going to be offering this wallpaper as an exclusive swag giveaway over on the Toon Ladies newsletter. You can go to newsletter.toonladies.com to get yourself signed up. We just gave out an amazing wallpaper from Jenna A. of Enjoy the Show, who happens to be here hanging out with us in the comments. Hey, girl. And we've got Marshmallow from Defects, who is providing our upcoming issues episode of all the fun things. So we are doing an exclusive interview with her. We are going to be giving away a wallpaper. We might have some fun surprises up our sleeve because you know I am building out the newsletter right now with some fun extra bonus things. So get yourself signed up, newsletter.toonladies.com every single Saturday. I am dropping into your email inbox in the morning with breaking Toon World news. So anything that's happened in the Toon World you need to know about, I'm bringing it to you right inside of your inbox. We've got character interviews. So these are interviews with amazing characters from the webcomics that you are loving on. So if you guys want to see some of May's characters answering some fun interview questions, let me know which one you want me to interview. We have author interviews. We've got all sorts of bonuses. We've got videos. We've got upcoming live streams. Everything you need to know about inside of the Toon World is dropped inside of this newsletter, newsletter.toonladies.com, to come join us for all of the fun. All right, May, what are you working on now?
just running through my shading. This is very messy, as you can see. I don't do as much blending in Brimstone's actual comic because it takes it. It's not that it takes a long time. It's just more time that I could save. Because again, I do like 40 panels a week. It's a lot. But yeah, currently I'm just laying down my basic shading and then just going through, blending some stuff out if it's a little bit too harsh. It's always weird to work with demon skin because they are kind of crap. Hold on one second, sorry. I forgot that I put her horn gradient on a multiply layer rather than a separate thing. But yeah, it's hard to work with demon skin sometimes because they don't work with my normal multiply colors as well. And so like Lazarus has a specific color that I used for his highlights actually because he is blue and none of my other characters are blue for very obvious reasons.
That would be interesting if we had other characters with blue skin. I feel like that would be quite the different story.
Yeah, it would be, I mean, like, trying not to spoil stuff, but, we'll see. We'll see in the future.
Oh, fun times. We are getting lots of love for how the image is looking right now. And I'm really excited
I'm glad.
to see the finished product of this, which you can get exclusively in the newsletter.
This has been a very I'm so sorry. My phone just buzzed because my mom just texted me. Thanks, Mom.
Hi. That's okay.
Oh my gosh.
You know what? I'm gonna tell you guys a fun story because we got a second.
Ooh.
We have been doing all the fun tech stuff today. We've had all the tech troubles and we are still going through it and doing all the good stuff. But we're also doing things like getting text messages. And a little while ago, I was chatting with you. You might have seen me look a little concerned. That is because there was a tiny child walking through my yard right by my window. I don't know who the child is. I don't know who they are, where they came from. It was not one of the neighbor children that I recognized. So I shot off a text for somebody to handle that situation. But I live out in the country. My neighbors are like, I got a little bit of space, so I'm not sure where this child came from, but definitely right outside my window. Yeah.
That is extremely concerning. What the heck?
Yes.
Why was
there's two houses over. There's like an Airbnb. So every once in a while they get people in there, and I guess there's a family that has been living over there for like 2 weeks, and they are there because of the lockdown now. I'm assuming it's one of their many children over there. But here's
that is absolutely crazy. That's so weird.
Yes. It's a weird random Tuesday, guys. If you guys have issues with your Tuesday today, please let us know. Let us know it's not just us. Sorry, one of my neighbors is walking across the street with their child, and it's definitely not the one that was in my yard. Genesis, what?
Well,
I know.
maybe that's for the best, let's be honest.
Between the construction and the trees coming down today and the tech issues and the random children in the yard, I don't know what's happening here, but I think the apocalypse has arrived.
I have no idea. It's getting sorry, I need to take off my jacket. It was freezing cold this morning in Pittsburgh, and now it's just getting hot, and I'm great, wonderful, thanks.
Well, at least I warmed up a little bit. I mean, I would rather have the warmer side of things than the colder side of things.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm kind of in between. I mean, I like snow in theory. I've mentioned this to you before. Like it in theory, but man, whenever I have to pay for my own heating, it's significantly less endearing to me.
Oh, I know it, and it's been one of those wonky winters, so it's always more expensive. Fun times.
It's just made me very sad suddenly.
This conversation took a turn.
It did. It's just all right. Time to be talking about depressing adult stuff, like bills.
Grown-up life. I'm just saying. But hey, your art is paying your bills, which is always a good thing. And Jennifer comments saying, "What pen or brush do you typically use for your line work? Do you have any favorite brushes in general?"
Okay, so I use the G pen, and that's it, and the airbrush, and that's pretty much it. I am not fancy. I am not super duper I also use smooth watercolor very rarely. I use it more for my regular illustrations. But yeah, usually just G pen and airbrush, and that's it. And then of course a little bit of droplet just to get that nice little, lighting effect so that it looks semi-professional. But other than that, I don't really do much. It's if it works, it works. What's the point in fiddling with things if what I'm doing I'm okay with?
Yeah, if it works, you work that hard. That's the way we do it. Emmy's in the comments saying, living in a freezer is what I'd want. Well, Emmy, you and I can be friends, but not on that particular point. So I'm definitely one of those 90s, 100-degree weather kind of girl. That's Fahrenheit for those of you not in this country. I am definitely one of those warm weather girls, but a lot of people I know are not. So Emmy, you can take all the cold weather and I will take all the hot weather, and then we can be best friends. That is the way that this is going to work. If you guys have questions, we would love to get those answered. We are finishing up this amazing wallpaper, which I am so hardcore loving, that glowy wing look. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's a super easy thing to do that always looks impressive.
I love when people go glowy with their artwork. I'm very drawn to the glowy art. And the way you did that was very, very quick. I was impressed with how you did that as I was watching, because I feel like for me, I can do similar things, but I feel like it takes just a tiny bit longer in Photoshop. But it's very
Yeah. I mean, it's also just as you get familiar with the program, you're going to just get faster and faster, which is the main thing, But yeah, you learn flip. Sorry, this is the wrong color or mode. Sorry, overlay can be a little bit too intense sometimes, which is why I often select it.
Are you able to lower the opacity on your layers?
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay.
I just don't feel like fiddling with it. Not whenever I'm just
That makes sense. I just, now that we're talking technology, I'm over here let's compare. I definitely want to get this program and then do a compare and contrast on Clip Studio and Photoshop, just because I'm kind of one of those techie people. If you would like to see that, please let me know.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say it's again, I've used both programs. Clip Studio is just a lot more efficient,
Yeah. We've got people loving on the cold weather for the win. Emmy is telling me we can meet in spring. Okay, I can tolerate that. We could do that. Katie P says it's so good. I love it. All your art.
Aw, that's so sweet.
Lots of love. Rosie's saying that's alarming that I had a child walking through my yard. Yes, it was. But that's okay. We're going to find that kid is home. It's all good. All right, friends, if you've got questions, go ahead and get those in. We are wrapping this up in the not too distant future. So if you've got questions, now is the time. And I know a question had come in earlier from, I believe it was Jenna, and she wanted to know, do you have any advice for people who are Canvas authors right now?
Oh man. I'm not probably the best person to ask for this. I was kind of publishing on Canvas while I was still at SCAD, and it was kind of like not my primary concern. I have like, the generic advice that like everyone has heard, which is, try to stick to an update schedule, get people used to when you're going to upload, try to gosh, what is it? Mostly just like, try to keep a constant update schedule. But unfortunately, I don't have much experience with this. Canvas was, or well, just like Brimstone, I did not ever expect to get to the point that it's at now, ever. This was a complete surprise to me, a very pleasant one, obviously. But yeah, I wasn't there for very long. I just, like with every comic though, you do want to try to keep to a consistent update schedule. And of course, interact with your, followers and like your comic if you can. Obviously promote on all of your social media. All of that goes without saying though. Really just like, I think the most like, and again, this is kind of generic advice, but with your comic, make sure that you, love what you're doing because it's going to be kind of rough starting out initially. And if you don't, care much for your comic, it's just, people can tell, unfortunately. People can tell whenever you don't care for a project.
That is very true. And if you are a Canvas artist and you are looking for advice, we do have an author Discord. You can go to authordiscord.toonladies.com. We're breaking down all sorts of marketing advice. There's writing advice. It's brand new. It's only a couple days old, but I have some major plans for this to help you guys make more money off of your comics. So come join us, authordiscord.toonladies.com. And for those of you who are fans who want to join our general conversation about the Toon world, you can come over to discord.toonladies.com. We're in there every day chatting about the Toons that we love. We've got some really cool author projects going on where we are spamming authors with love secretly just to support them and be nice. We've got some cool group cosplays coming up and all sorts of really great projects that you can get involved with and interact with the community and grow some friendships within this Discord. So discord.toonladies.com. And if you are someone who has trouble remembering those things, please feel free to leave me a comment on the video, a comment not in the chat, but like an actual comment under, and I will post those for you. Or you can send me a DM on any social media platform at Toon Ladies, and I will happily send you the links so you can come join us over on our Discords. Amy G says, is there anything in your style you would want to work on more?
Like improvement is everything an answer I can give. But not super, like, I guess in terms of like other projects, I have plenty of other projects that I'd love to work on, but the main thing that I had like a little bit of a existential crisis the other night, and I was like, gosh, I really want to get back into storyboarding. So I think that whenever I get a break from working on Brimstone, I'm gonna do my best to go and start making a couple more storyboards. I'm a huge musical theater fan. You know this.
I do.
Yeah.
Had the best time talking about Broadway. Oh my goodness, it has been so much fun. If you guys are musical fans, please let us know down in the comments below. And I'm actually working on dropping those links into the chat for you guys right now.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. But I'd love to be able to start doing some more animatics soon. I just need to like, get the time to do it. Get the time, get the motivation, and like just get my thoughts together as a whole.
That makes a lot of sense. So those were dropped for you guys. You can come join us. authordiscord.toonladies.com is for authors specifically. If you're an author or an artist, you're looking to grow your platform, please come join us. If you are anyone, author or a fan, you can come join discord.toonladies.com for all of the fun there. Mary Jane Works wants to know, how do you make time for your studies? How do you work on improving these things, and how do you actually have that professional development time within your schedule?
Oh gosh, so I'm not in college anymore. I graduated thankfully, right before everything got moved to online courses. I don't think I would be okay right now if I didn't. Major shout out to all my poor friends who are currently at SCAD still and just suffering through online courses and dealing with everything that's going on. But I honestly don't get much free time, and again, that's all my fault because I have terrible focus. It's very hard for me to sit still and draw for long periods of time, unless, as I've mentioned prior, unless I'm streaming, and then it becomes a little bit easier. But that's mostly just because I'm like, I don't want to disappoint people. But yeah, no. So I actually don't have much time. It's kind of why I feel a lot like, like with all creators, I kind of feel like I'm stagnating a bit. So whenever try to like peel away from being depressing. Whenever I do have time though, what I tend to do is I do a lot of gesture drawings. And then with Brimstone, I actually do try to push some of my panels. I try to make some of them a little bit more dynamic and more, sort of like, extreme angles that I wouldn't normally try in my regular work, but it's stuff that I feel like it'll suit the mood, it's good practice, and I think that at the very least, even if it doesn't look the greatest, like readers will understand what I was going for and they'll appreciate it rather than like, I just give, a very basic like another flat angle for a very important like line or whatever. Like the Amira episodes, especially at the end, whenever they're talking, there's a lot of very like extreme angles and upshots and whatnot with Amira, and they're not the most anatomically sound, to say the least, but they give a nice little atmosphere, I think, to it.
Sure. That makes perfect sense. And we are getting lots and lots of love for musicals in the comments. Raven's loving on the musicals. Katie P is loving on the musicals. Fandom Queen is also loving on the musicals. Emmy is in our comments saying, I've never seen Hamilton and I really want to. Emmy, here's a fun story for you. Last fall, I was signing books at New York Comic Con, and my hotel was right next to the Hamilton Theater, and I got to give my book to the cast of Hamilton. So there you go. Fun shout out there. Katie P's loving on Hamilton as well. Oh, you are in university and you're trying to focus, but it's kind of hard when there's a live with your favorite author. Sorry.
Oh.
Not sorry. We're glad you're here. We are glad.
Yeah, I'm super glad. I'm very flattered at all the people who showed up. I have a lot of crushing anxiety sometimes about doing live streams and whatnot. So it means a lot. Thank you all for coming. I'm doing my best to get this done, and so yeah, we are on the final like lighting effects.
Beautiful, which we absolutely love. We're getting more comments on the online classes. Yes. Emmy says OMG. Yes, there's more stories to go with that. Ask me about it sometime. It's lots of fun with the Hamilton thing, so we'll connect on that. That'll be fun. So if you've got any last minute questions, now is a great time. Mei, tell me what you were doing to finish up this drawing.
Yeah, so as you can see, I just did some very fast rim light. Currently, I'm doing a quick overlay. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't looked at this on my main monitor, so I don't know how it's looking. It's looking all right. I mean, it's, just, kind of adding in some like nice little shiny effects, because B's got some little glamorous wings, and it would be a dang shame if I did nothing with him.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, so I'm about to just draw on the quick pentagram underneath her, and then I'm probably going to just do some quick little like lighting textures in the background, and then I think this will be done. This will be good to go.
Beautiful. Oh, I'm excited for this. Yeah. Oh, people are giving lots of love. And we got secondhand excitement from some of our stories. That's fun. Yes, girl. Rosie says, so excited to have you. Thank you for coming and hanging out with us today. Guys, if you got last minute questions, now is the time. But while we're here finishing up, this is also a great time to jump into our chat box and leave your love for Mei and this amazing wallpaper, which you can get where? That's right, on the Toon Ladies newsletter. You come on over to newsletter.toonladies.com. You'll be able to get that in not this Saturday, but the following Saturday, as we're hanging out with Mei and featuring her inside of the newsletter. And we're really excited for you to be joining us for that because we've got all sorts of fun, fabulous things planned for this. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make your drawing full screen so we can get a good look at it as you are adding this in. Are you drawing that by hand?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
All of this has been by hand.
Well, I meant I saw the lines and I'm like, is there like a line feature or did you actually draw that straight of a line on your own?
I don't want to talk about it. I do a lot of undos. I'm left-handed, so like you can see that, but like you see my right hand side. It's because I actually unbound my Control Z, obviously, so that it would be easier for me to use as a left-handed person. So literally, Z through the question mark on my keyboard is just bound to undo buttons, so that I can just blindly smash my keys, and eventually I'll get one undo.
That's so funny.
It's definitely something, I'll tell you that.
Are you a fan of keyboard shortcuts? Because I am the biggest proponent of keyboard shortcuts.
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't use as much as I probably should. There are definitely more ways I could streamline, but like if you haven't, y'all should definitely work on, setting up your keyboards to be optimal, especially if you're like me and you're left-handed and you get screwed over by the default settings a lot.
Yeah, unfortunately, I can see that happening. Goodness. Hey, you know what we usually do while we are live that we haven't done yet today? If you are watching live right now, or if you're on the replay, we want you to share the love for today's episode. So what we want you to do is grab your phone, and we want you to either take a screenshot, or we want you to hold up your phone and take a picture of your computer as you are watching today's episode, and then go over to Instagram, to Twitter, to Facebook, to wherever you happen to be posting, and put this up on your social media platform and tag us in them because we want to see you hanging out with us. We love to give you shout outs when you are joining us live or when you are joining us on our rebroadcast. So snap that picture and let everybody know that you are watching right here on youtube.com/Toon Ladies because we want to bring more people in so we can do more fun live streams just like this one and just like the one we're doing on Friday with Mushmallow of Defects so that we are doing these really cool live stream drawing in real time events for you guys. The more you let other people know and bring them to the party, the more of these we're going to do for you. Getting all the love for the keyboard shortcuts down below and left-hand crew. All right, guys, we are excited that you are joining us for all of these fun keyboard shortcuts and for the left-handed fun, or not so much fun sometimes.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna do one more thing and then I think we'll be good to go,
Beautiful. Oh, I love it. I love how glowy that is. It's just like so pretty.
Yeah, I was introduced to the wonders of custom brushes, and so I got the only thing I downloaded were just a whole bunch of like lighting effects. So like I'm sure people have noticed in some of the, especially if you buy FastPass, there have been a lot of these like circle things, and that's because I bought this one brush, or I didn't buy it, but I downloaded this one brush and I am obsessed with it. It's really cool and I like it a lot. It's not working right now, unfortunately. This is a little bit too dark of a scene, I think, for it to work. Which sucks for me, but it's okay. We're just gonna have to do this the old-fashioned way.
It's all good. I'm a huge fan of bokeh, though. As a photographer, that is like my favorite thing. And as a designer, I put it in like half the things that I make just because it's so pretty. If you guys love that bokeh, which is those circles that kind of overlap and they kind of show that field of depth or depth of field. Wow, words are hard. Let us know. Let us know if you are loving bokeh down in the comments below. And bonus points if you spell it correctly.
I can very quickly just do a quick demonstration on what I meant by overlays doing a really good job at tying together the rest of the image real quick.
Beautiful.
Okay, so this is usually the last thing I do, like the very last. It's whenever I just take the picture and then I like put on an overlay layer, and then usually I don't do a hellish red like I just did now. I do a soft pink color, and then I kind of just tone it down, and then I have to do this on my other monitor, so that I can see what it looks like.
Ooh.
But it really helps to unify all of your colors a little bit more, and then I just add like a little bit of a blue sheen, and it looks better usually. And it kind of just helps to like, again, tie things together and make them less ugly. I don't know how else to put it.
Well, color toning is really important, and so to have those kind of like overlays that's something that is going to make sure that it looks like a unified, cohesive unit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and we are getting the correct spelling of Boca. Good job. That's because you're my Photoshop friend, Boo Boo. I see. Rosie is one of the fabulous people who works with me over at Toon Ladies, and she is my Photoshop assistant. She's been doing all the good Photoshop work for me, cutting out some characters for the videos. I cannot say enough good things about how helpful this has been to me. If you want to join the Toon Ladies team, I give you all sorts of amazing perks, like meeting authors face-to-face in real time, off air, with nobody else around. You can come over to toonladies.com/join the team because we're looking for content creators, marketers, and fabulous people who are reporting on the cool things that are going on in the Toon world. And I would love for you guys to come join the team. That is toonladies.com/join the team, or you can ping me on any of the social medias or the Discord, and I will happily give you that information so you can come join us for all of the fun and the really cool things we're doing, plus the bonus perks I've got for you and the big things I have planned over the next couple of months.
Okay, I think we're good to go. That's probably about it. Again, I'm not super fancy. I just kind of slap some lighting effects on there and hope that it looks like enough.
That looks fantastic. I am loving on this. I'm loving his expression. And I'm loving your use of light in this.
Thank you. I added that and I don't like it, so never mind. It's fine.
Sometimes when I'm live, I'm like, guys, we're going to do this really cool thing. I get it there and it doesn't work. I'm like, all right, never mind. Look away.
Yeah, sometimes I'm just like, maybe a little frame would be interesting, but I'm looking at this and I'm just like, May, you really want this to work, but it's not going to work.
It happens. It happens. I understand. This has turned out to be so dang pretty, though. I am so excited for this. Any last thoughts for our fabulous people in terms of artistic advice?
Yeah, no, not really. Just, draw what you like seeing. That's what I've done pretty much my entire life. I draw a lot of fan art. I draw a lot of bright colors. That's what I enjoy. And it's really hard, especially whenever you first get started with art, but you just have to have patience and you'll get to the point where you want to be eventually.
Yes, work hard and you will get where you need to be. I love it. May, thank you so much for joining us. Before we say goodbye, can you tell everybody where they can find you on social media?
Yeah, I'm at Spearmint everywhere. I think that the stream has all of my social media icons on it, but it's SPEREMINT. Thanks so much for joining, y'all. I'm really happy that so many people came and watched.
We are appreciative that each and every one of you did join us today. For more fun, make sure you hit that subscribe and notification bell here on YouTube. Bring your friends to the party. You know the drill. Make sure you are shouting us out over on social media. And if you want more of this, you can come over and hang out at toonladies.com. We've got some incredible guests coming up on the talk show, on the podcast, on the live streams, and in the videos. Plus, we've got some bonuses happening over on the Discord page as well. So we don't want you to miss out. We would love for you to join us. You can hit us up at Toon Ladies on all the social media platforms. And please make sure you're joining us this Friday. We're hanging out with Mushmello here on the YouTube page. She's going to be drawing for us live her characters from Defects, which, wow, the glowy art over there. You guys are going to love this episode, so make sure you stay tuned. A bunch of our future episodes are already on our YouTube page, so you can hit notifications to get reminders so that you do not miss out on these. We thank each and every one of you for joining us, and we cannot wait to see you again in our upcoming episodes. Until then, we hope you all have a fantastic day and stay inspired. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.